what's up everybody, I'm SuperSonicJB and today I went to the store to buy some toothpaste, but then I realized I was all out of food! Now, I was only going to get a few things, but since the employees were so freaking friendly there, I could not walk away without buying everything. That's the thing though, with all this food lying around, I'm not really sure what to do with it. I mean, I'm not a chef, how can I possibly learn how to make a recipe? Well, that answers that question. Wow, a cooking game involving the Fate characters? Sign me up! Wait, $50? But I just spent all my money on food I didn't want! Every day today's menu for Emiya Family is a video game spin-off of the Fate anime series that revolves around cooking. Yeah, screw fighting over the Holy Grail, I want to eat some curry instead! Also, I should mention, this game revolves around the Fate spin-off show called Today's Menu for Emiya Family, or Emiya Sanchi no Kyo no Gohan, I think that's how it's pronounced, as it's called in Japan. Yeah, even that part's there. The anime is just a series about the Fate characters hanging out and cooking food. It's honestly a pretty decent anime, and I guess it was successful enough to get its own video game. Now, I've been a big fan of the Fate series for a little while now, and I've always wanted to review a cooking game on the channel here. But since Hell's Kitchen the game was too cool for me, I decided to play this game instead, so let's take a look at Everyday Today's Menu for Emiya Family. So you have some options to choose from throughout the main menu. I should probably practice, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Let's just jump into story mode. So there's 3 separate stories to choose from. Obviously, they ripped out this idea from Sonic Adventure 2, and each story revolves around Shiro, the main character of this series, helping one of the 3 main girls, Saber, Rin, and Sakura, by teaching them how to cook. I mean, anything is better than learning through Cooking Mama.
Wait, Shiro, is that a copy of Cooking Mama you're reading from?
No.
Well, okay then.
So we start things off with Saber's story, and have to unlock the other girls' stories by playing through the game. It makes sense, but I do wish you could start with any of the girls instead of just Saber. Rin's my favorite, so I'd love to spend loads of time with her. But oh well, let's play through Saber's story for now. Chapter 1. Oh boy, let's see if I can properly pronounce this. Toshikashi Soba. Saber's story. Let's hope that was right. It is New Year's Eve at the Emiya house. After finishing up the end of the year big cleaning, Shiro begins to prepare Toshikashi Soba for dinner. Saber makes a surprising request to Shiro, asking to help him with the cooking. And here I thought she was going to ask for money to ride a lion. So it's New Year's Eve now, and Shiro and Saber want to celebrate the coming of the new year by making some delicious food. Saber is super excited to start cooking, and then we get to decide on what Shiro gets to say to her. These types of decisions happen in every chapter, and some of them even lead to unlocking a new chapter in another character's story, so you may want to select that option whenever it pops up. So our first job is to make Toshikashi Soba, and I originally thought it said soda.
Soda.
Soba.
Oh, sofa.
No soba.
Okay, got it.
Okay, then repeat it back to me.
Soda.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
And get this, the game actually has the actual recipes for each dish written down on this menu. I mean, come on, who would have possibly thought a cooking game, of all things, would actually have real recipes it can make? Now, don't get nervous about reading all this nonsense, because you don't actually follow this recipe step by step in the gameplay. No, you tend to do 2 to 5 different mini-games that revolve around chopping food, boiling food, or stabbing food with a sword. Wait, no, that's not right. You obviously use a shield, come on! The first minigame we do is chop the soba ingredients, and all you have to do in this minigame is tap A at the right time in order to chop. There's also 4 different results you can get when playing. Perfect, great, good, and bad. And trust me, don't get bad. Next you boil the soba, which apparently are noodles. Huh, learn something new every day. In this minigame you have to line up the cursor in the marked spot for a small amount of time, and then press up on the D-pad when it's ready. You can also hold A to move right, and do nothing to go to the left. Now these minigames are okay, but they're not really that interesting. They're just kind of basic and boring. Once we're done with those 2 minigames, we finish our dish and get our results. Now in order to unlock a new episode, you need to at least get 1 heart rating, so you better at least do good if you want to keep playing. If you get 2 hearts, you get a nice snapshot, and if you get 3, you get a memory piece, which you can use to unlock a special episode. After the cooking is all done, you get to watch this quick little cutscene that shows off what Shiro's and Saber's reaction is to your cooking. If you get 3 hearts, it's a great / wholesome reaction, 2 hearts is alright, and 1 heart is just barely passable, C- at best. And the chapter ends with Saber telling Shiro she wants to learn how to make more recipes in the future. Now there's quite a lot of chapters to play through in this game, and as you play on and get either 1 heart rankings or make a specific choice, you can unlock more chapters to play. Here's the thing though, each chapter is pretty much the exact same thing over and over again. It usually goes like this. One of the girls wants Shiro to teach them how to make a specific recipe, they cook, eat, and they compliment each other on how good the food was. Repeat all this throughout the entire game, and you got the story mode for this game. Yeah, it gets pretty boring and super repetitive after a little while. I mean, sure, not every cutscene has the same dialogue, and it is nice to see Shiro spend an equal amount of time with all the girls, but couldn't they have made each character's story more special? Like, how about we go somewhere else for a change? Or when Rin mentioned we could go out and stargaze, why couldn't we do that in the actual game? Also, something else that really bothers me about this game is whenever you're playing through one of the girls' stories and you want to switch to another, you have to start all over again from chapter 1. What? Yup, if you're on chapter 6 of Saber's story and want to switch it up and play with Sakura for a bit, you'd have to start her story from the very beginning. Oh, and you also have to restart Saber's story from square one, too, because you had to visit Sakura. Come on, Sakura! Also, yeah, as you may have noticed, this game doesn't have an English dub, so make sure you're wearing reading glasses when playing this game. The music in this game is okay, but the issue is, there's not many songs to listen to. It gets old pretty quickly hearing the same music over and over again. The music itself is good, but couldn't they have gone the extra mile and made more of it? Alright, let's stop all the negative talk and talk about some of the positives. Off the bat, I really like the game's art style here. Sure, it looks pretty much exactly like the anime, but that's perfectly fine in my book. The colors look amazing, the attention to detail is great. Just look at Rin's hair and you'll be unable to look at anything the same ever again. This dude's hair sucks! There's also some pretty nice side content available. Most of these are simple missions you can do to unlock some side content and level up your stats. Some of these missions can be pretty hard to complete too. Sabers are usually easier ones, Sakura's are normal, and Rin's are a bit more challenging. There's also this feature that allows you to change the girls' outfits in the story mode. The outfits aren't really anything too special, in fact you see them during the actual story mode, depending on what season it is. But it's still a nice little add-on. And you can also view some old recipes you made in the story mode. In fact, I feel inspired to try and make one of these myself, so let's give it a shot. Alright, and welcome to my kitchen. Now there's a lot of recipes to choose from in this game, and considering most of these recipes require certain ingredients that I can't really find in the US very easily, I decided I'm going to go ahead and make Tosaka's Gomoku fried rice. I mean, this is a game about cooking, so let's see how well it teaches me here. Man, that's a lot of instructions. I doubt I would have survived cooking school. Step 1. Dice pork, carrots, boko, I guess, like a bokoblin, green onion, and green peppers. Unfortunately, I only have pork that's already cooked, so I'll just chop that and some chicken tenders to add some real flavor to it. Step 2. Prepare warm rice and break the eggs and beat them well. I guess I'll just pour white rice in a pan and add some broken eggs to it. Step 3 is a little long for me to read, but I saw add salt in there, so I did just that and added some peanut butter just to be safe. Step 4 wants me to clean this random pan for some reason. I don't know why, but I shouldn't question my Switch's cooking skills. Step 5 has me pour some soy sauce in this pan here and then add it to the rice along with everything else. Then we should heat it up and it'll be done in no time. Well, while that's cooking, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other mini games. Yeah, there's not too many to play from here on out, and they're mostly pretty simple to grasp. For instance, here's one where you have to spam A and press up on the D-pad and the mark spot to get a high score. It's easy, but sometimes I feel like I gotta mash it like a madman to get a perfect score. There's also this quick time event looking one where you press a certain direction on the D-pad and press A at the perfect timing in order to get a good score. Then there's this game of hide and seek where you have to find certain objects and you can move between the two rooms to look. And for some reason, I never see the frying pan standing right in front of me. Thankfully there's a retry option, which definitely saves you a lot of time if you're failing a mission. Then there's this game where you have to heat the food, and you can use the left stick to adjust the heat, and press A when the bars are in the pink area. And then there's this other mashing one where you have to mash the button on the row that you're on, but you better be careful, as not every row's button will be shown until the very last second. And that's about it. Like, these mini games are fine, but I really wish there was more of them. I mean, I feel like I'm hardly even making food at this point. Why do I have to chop everything so many damn times? So yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of this game, but I will admit, I really like the special episodes with each girl. It shows us some amazing artwork, and it's nice to see Shiro have a happy ending with all three of them. Or in my case with Rin, since I love her the most and left the other two in the dust. Ha! I mean, come on, I'd have to start all over again if I chose someone else.
Wow. What an asshole.
So yeah, in the end, I wasn't really the biggest fan of this game. The story and gameplay were just super repetitive, and starting over constantly was a pain. At least it was a nice and peaceful game. I can't say those words about Basement Crawl, and it was nice to spend time with the three main heroines of the series.
Alright, according to this recipe, I should be all done here, so let's check out what I got. That looks good right there, if I do say so myself. Just look at that. What kind of grandma would not be happy about seeing this? I really gotta thank Grin for this recipe, though, so let's go and give it a shot, shall we? I ended up getting Arby's instead. Man, after playing through that game, I felt like I really haven't learned much about cooking. All I know how to do is chop, 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 and boil some stuff. That's just the thing about cooking games like this. It's not really super detailed on what you're supposed to do. Sure, it has the recipes listed out and everything, but the actual gameplay doesn't really teach you much. I should have just played Hell's Kitchen on the Wii instead.